thinking about your ungodliness. I'm not thinking about your hate for me. But I want you to know that that which you took away from me, I am willing to give to you. And what Joseph realizes is that in giving them these changes of raiment, what he is doing is he is basically elevating them up. He is producing within them the spirit that he had when his father gave him a coat. Isn't that what old-time salvation does when you get forgiveness? It puts you in the same position with the Father as Jesus has. Isn't that amazing? As we entertained last night, as Brother Ron was talking about this matter of being sons of God and how that you and I are joint heirs with Jesus Christ, a part of the family. And when he looks at us, the Bible said we are accepted in the beloved. Hallelujah. And then boys, they wanted a coat so bad they was willing to kill for it. They wanted acceptance, they wanted a position so bad they was willing to kill for it. And if anybody never deserved it, they didn't deserve it. But the first thing the main man in Egypt does is put, and I'll guarantee you, it ain't no cheap stuff that he's putting on there. This man has he has in his fingertips the possessions and the potential of the greatest and finest that you could have. And here he brings all of his brethren in, and can you imagine when they slip those coats on? And I'd see old Reuben saying, man, I always wondered what that'd feel like. Because, you know, they watched Joseph put his on, and they didn't like it much. Old Judah said, wow, man, ain't that wonderful? And I'd see old Levi say, I don't know about you boys, but I'm going to sleep in mine tonight. I ain't taking it off. Because what those coats were, what those clothes were a spirit of forgiveness, and a spirit of reception, and a spirit of position. With these clothes on, they're going to be recognized out of all Egypt in this connection, in this royal position, in this family of the man they hated the most. Where'd you get your coat? The guy we're trying to kill. Give it to us. Well, you can't get foundries like that anywhere. There's no way we can purchase anything like that. You must have got that from high up. He said, yeah, I got it from as high as you can go. How come he gave it to you? We took his away. And he forgave us and clothed us in his heart and his righteousness. He was taking his heart and putting it on them. Saying if there's any doubt. You try this on for size and you'll know. That you have one of the greatest parts of salvation is to know you've been forgiven. The Bible said for Christ's sake. In other words, Joseph's not just putting up with it. He's not just letting bygones be bygones. But he's forgiven and forgotten. He's forgiven them. You can see it in the clothing, but you can also see it in his compassion. The Bible tells us in verse 1 and 2, he's crying and he's weeping on them. Verse 14 tells us that he weeps on them. He wept. And verse 15 tells us he wept. And on over all the way to chapter 15, verse 17, Joseph is so busy loving those that did not love him. That the last time they looked upon him, he saw out of them eyes of deceit and eyes of hate and eyes of murder and so on. But when they looked into his eyes, they felt tenderness and love and a genuine forgiveness. And all they could do is say, isn't that amazing? Boy, just to think, I could go back to those days, and I'm still amazed at it because I'm long perfect. But I'm glad for a Jesus that doesn't mind pulling sinners up to himself. Letting them know, first and foremost, you're saturated with His blood, with His tears, and with His compassion. You imagine them old boys? The difference between him and everybody else, them and everybody else was there, is that they know they don't deserve to be there. Honey, the difference between you and I as children of God and anybody else is we've got sense enough through the Spirit of God to know we don't deserve it. We didn't come here tonight to boast on our righteousness and talk about how good we were and all that other stuff. We come to talk about one that forgave us so much. He loved us and clothed us in His own righteousness. Amen. They didn't walk around in their own standing, but everybody saw them with new garments. Why? Because He forgave. Aren't you glad? Amen. Wow. What good would salvation be if God was grumpy at you all the time, and mad, and couldn't forget what you'd done? I'm going to let you into heaven, and I'll tell you something. If you don't touch stuff when you get there. You're going through training, too. You've got training. So I know what kind of person you are. All right, you're all up here, everybody's up here, but now look, you know what kind of scoundrels, what kind of past, and you're the best I could get out of all of it, so, but you listen, you better act right, do it, ship up or ship out. Well, I just said not you, wouldn't you? But I promise you that won't be mentioned when you get to heaven. Because it hadn't been mentioned since you got saved. Isn't it amazing how He pulled you up into His arms and He loved you as He loves me? And as the scripture said, Jesus loves me. This I know. When I couldn't even love myself. That's good. When everybody around me knew I didn't deserve to be loved, He loved me. Right. Ruben said, let me feel yours, G. Let me feel yours, G. That's good stuff. Joseph is like Jesus. He's giving his life for men's future. He's drawing them through repentance. It is the goodness of God that leadeth us to repentance. He's forgiving men of their trespasses. But let me emphasize this. Joseph is like Jesus in that he's sending men out with this message that they have received. He's sending them out. The scripture tells us in verse number 9, after that's all been said, He makes them missionaries out of them. That's the first thing He does after He saves you. You don't realize He makes a missionary out of it, because the first thing you're going to do is go tell somebody what happened. Verse 9, He said, haste ye and go to my father, and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me and tarry not. They're headed back home. That's the great thing about salvation. He just puts something in you that you just feel like we got to tell the whole world. Somebody was telling me the other day about a fellow that was an atheist. I said, I don't blame him. I'd be one too. If I didn't know that Jesus was alive. If I had never met Jesus, I'd probably be an atheist. Probably. Or I'd be some kind of a religious somebody on the way to hell. Because if you ain't met Him, ain't nothing you got worth anything anyway. But the important thing is not that you're Baptist or Methodist or Presbyterian. The important thing is, do you know Jesus? Have you met Jesus? If you have, you've got a message. You've got a word to tell somebody. The Lord told me one day to tell this church, there's about 400 or 500 people there, and He said, get up and tell them that if they believe that a man rose from the dead 2,000 years ago, they got to be crazy. I said, well, Lord, I don't believe that. He said, you tell them when I talk. It was a little tough. I got up and I said, the Lord told me to tell you that if you believe that it was on Easter Sunday, they've been singing all them pretty songs, that if you believe that somebody got up from the grave by their own power and might, that there must be something wrong with you. I mean, after all, the disciples didn't believe it. The Bible said they didn't believe it. They couldn't believe, even after it happened, they couldn't believe it. I'll be honest with you, I got a lot of confidence in Brandon, but if he come in here today and tell me that he'd been hanging out with a fellow been dead for 4 days and then they got to go and have lunch, I just say, well, you know, you need to go to the doctor. I'm going to tell you something. If you've met the one that's supposed to have been dead, well, I believe it not doesn't make any difference. Because you know he's alive.
Yeah.
And in the heart of the Father, back there in the far-off country, all he's heard, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. And then the guys, his son, rotten children's been telling him that. And then all of a sudden, the same devils that told him he's dead now going to come tell him he's alive. Isn't it amazing how God will save you, change your heart, your past, and then use you to tell people
That's right.
what you didn't believe to start with. They come pulling up and said, he's alive, Daddy. He's alive, Daddy. Then he said, you go tell him, I'm not only alive, but I'm Lord.
Yeah.
I'm Lord. And then you tell him to come on back down here because I'm longing to see him. I want him to be a part of what. Boy, isn't that what mission work is all about this week? When you get saved, you want your children to know because you want them to be able to experience what you experience. Or you want your parents to know, or you want your neighbors to know, you want your friends to know. Because the Lord has done something for you, you can't get over it, and you want somebody else to know about it. And so you find yourself telling others. Well, you know, I suppose that it would have been hard for Jacob to believe that story. Matter of fact, it would have been impossible for him to believe that story. But if you'll notice in verse number 24, chapter 45, so he sent his brethren away. They departed, and he said unto them, see that you fall not out by the way. They went up out of Egypt and came unto the land of Canaan, unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he's governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob knows them boys too well. His heart fainted, for he believed them.
Yeah.
And they told him all the words of Joseph which he had said unto them. And when he saw, notice this, he could, can you imagine this? Isn't it amazing how the Lord will give you something? He'll do such a work in your heart that it'll become the evident thing that others will know that there's something different here. Yeah. There must be something real about it.
That's good.
When I was up in West Virginia, one of those girls, I say girls, she was in her mid-20s. She came down to the altar, and my daughter was dealing with it. She said, Daddy, I asked her what she wanted, and she said, y'all seem to have so much peace. I want what you got. Boy, I'm going to tell you, when he loads you down with joy unspeakable and full of glory, and you don't have to have a weed or some kind of grass or something to drink that feel like that, and when he puts his peace in you that passes all understanding, and you know the old account is settled, and you've got a praise in your soul, and those around you that knowed you before, when they see that, they know something's different. It's not just arguing about religion, but there's something real there. And the Bible said there in that scripture that he believed them not. But then the next verse said, and when he saw the wagons. Yep. Did you see that in that next verse? And when he saw the wagons. Look at it. Verse 28. And Israel said, well, let's look at verse 27. And they told him all the words of Joseph which he had said to them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived, and Israel said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is alive, and I will go. Don't you like it when others get hooked on that?
Yeah.
And can you see Joseph? He said, no, boys, no, no. It ain't so, boys, it ain't so. And he pushes the screen door open and looks out. And just in an instant, faith takes hold of him. He said, oh, yes, it is so. Oh, yes, it is so. He is alive. He is alive. I was hopping back and forth to cry. I don't think he was baptized. I don't think he said, well, he's alive. Now, he's got a hip problem. I know that. He's wrestled with an angel. He lost that battle. But, honey, I just don't think he was an average Baptist. I mean, he thought that boy had been dead so long there wasn't no life there. And he said, boys, you're lying to me. That's just religion. You went off your rocker. He ain't alive. And he puts the screen door on and he said, whoa, he is alive. He is alive. He is alive. He is alive.
Amen.
Woo. They couldn't get him loaded up fast enough.
That's right.
They head back to where he was at. I'm glad he's given us something. He's given us something to share with others. He's given us something real that other folks can see.
Amen.
Somebody said, well, how did Joseph get so much like Jesus? Well, want me to tell you? You want to be like Jesus more? Does anybody here like to be more like Jesus? Well, all you need is a prison, a pit, some brothers that hate you, a family that will soon sell you off. Pain and sorrow and suffering. And at the end of it, you'll take all of that son and I'll make Jesus out of it. Isn't that amazing? I'll close with this. I love to use this illustration because I used to do interior decorating. Me and my wife before I went into evangelism. All that is hanging wallpaper and paint. But you get a little more money if you put a little fancy name on it. You know what I mean? And you ever go to the store and you want to have some paint mixed because they don't have it already pre-mixed? And that happens on almost every job. And I found this out early on. So I would get the chart and I'd take it to the lady's house and find out what, then I'd take it to the hardware department and paint part of it, and I'd say, can you get me this color? And what they'll do is they'll go get a base bucket of paint, and they'll take it over there and they'll put it under a spindle that has 10 or 15 canisters, and those canisters are all filled with certain colors. They take the lid off of that and they'll slide it under. And then they begin to squirt whatever the mix is going to be. But if you don't know anything about mixing, and early on I didn't, it can disturb you as you watch what color they squirt in there. Because you know that every color, even if it's white, has to have one color in it. You know what that one color is? Black. You can't have white unless you squirt black. I didn't know. And so could you realize, can you see me? I go and I said, she's wanting this light tan, this beige, or whatever. And he slides down and squirts black in there, and I'm thinking, this guy ain't worked here long. And then he spins it around, puts a real bright yellow, and I'm thinking, whoa, I don't think she'll like that. And then maybe he spins it around, puts a real bright red, and